Now today I'm not going to show you how I made the entire card. I'm just going to focus on this panel here at the front. I used a technique known as Emboss Resist, and yeah, I'm going to show you how I did that today. The stamps that I used is postage due. It is one in the annual catalogue, and we're going to focus just on this stamp here at the bottom, the nice big large one that I have mounted on the clear block E, ready to go. Now the tools that we need for embossing include a heat tool, Versamark, embossing powder, in this case we're going to be using clear today, embossing powder, and of course our cardstock. Now the first step in embossing is to make sure that we run the embossing buddy over the top of the cardstock. This just helps to reduce the static in the cardstock, and it means that the embossing powder will stick where we would like it to stick. Next we get our Versamark ready. You can see mine's obviously very well used. I'm just going to place this stamp down today because it's a larger stamp, and I'm going to just put the Versamark onto the stamp pad, onto the stamp itself. And it's all ready to go. Now I need to just make sure that I've got it up the right way and stamp my image in place. Hold it there for a sec and lift. Now while that ink is still wet, what we're going to do is to sprinkle a bit of clear embossing powder over the top, and I've got a new bottle here ready to open up. New pot, and you can be quite generous sprinkling it over the top because we just tap off any excess, and I'll be able to put that back into the pot later on. Now it's probably really very hard for you to see the embossing powder on this particular piece of cardstock, but all will be revealed in time. What I'm going to do now is to take my heat tool, and what I'm going to do is to melt the embossing powder. Need to mind my fingers to make sure I don't burn them, because these heat tools can get quite hot. And we know that the embossing powder will be melting when it changes colour a little, although it will be hard for you to see, especially given the low light conditions. I probably should have grabbed some tongs to hold this piece of cardstock in. Okay, that looks like it's all ready to go. I'll turn the heat tool off and put it to the side. Now, if you were just doing some heat embossing and you had some coloured embossing powder, you could just leave it as is. But because I've used clear embossing powder on vanilla cardstock, it's going to be really hard to see the image on the card, and that's where the Emboss Resist technique comes in. What I'm going to do is to then take my stamp pad and a sponge dauber, and I'm going to dip the sponge dauber into the ink pad and just rub it over the surface. And we take another colour, and in this case Island Indigo. And we can move to some other areas that we've embossed. It's just a matter of sponging that ink on where you'd like it to go. And I'm going to come back in now with some soft suede. And just finish off any areas that I haven't already sponged. You can see how super simple this is. Just going over the script. Now what I can do once I've finished sponging is just to take a tissue and just to rub over the surface. What that's going to do is to remove any of the ink that's sitting on top of the embossed surface. And then what I do is just cut that down a little bit and pop it onto the finished card.